Hey Wolfpack, I hope you all had a great Easter. I unfortunately wasn't able to upload this yesterday, so it will be uploaded tonight. With that said, whether you're sitting around a campfire, on the night shift, or even laying in bed, let my voice soothe your nightmares. Can't really say that I ever was a fan of Easter. I mean, sure, I enjoy the holidays and getting together with family, but in my humble opinion, Easter is one of the cringiest holidays ever. I mean, come on, I really don't understand the premise. Colored eggs, a fancy version of treasure hunt, and a happy bunny that symbolizes prosperity, although the kids just know they have a cute mascot for the holiday. I don't want to annoy anybody, I just find the whole thing boring. I mean, at least, I did find it boring until this year. You see, this time Easter came to me, whether I wanted it or not, in a most creepy way. My experience actually started 2 weeks before Easter on a typical Monday. I dressed for work. I work at a warehouse, so the lockdown doesn't apply to me. Drank my morning coffee, and I was off for one more average, borderline boring week. When I was ready, I made my way out of the house. As I opened the door, I almost stepped on a small object on my porch. It was an Easter egg. A single Easter egg, just casually placed right in front of my door. My first guess was that someone couldn't really make his kid wait for the actual Easter and started hiding eggs already, just to find his peace and quiet. Poor guy. But then again, why on my door? I didn't have time to think about it anymore, as I was a bit late for work currently. I left it there, not thinking much, and continued on with my day. At work, I kinda forgot about the incident. You see, during the quarantine, people have way too much free time to kill, so they spend it by ordering more stuff online, giving me and my colleagues a great amount of work to do. A bit tiresome, but as long as I think that they stay home, I'm willing to take one for the team. You can imagine that I was startled when I found the egg still on my porch. Hey neighbor dad, your kiddo is not the sharpest tool in the shed, eh? I thought to myself. For some reason, this time I was intrigued with the situation. It was extremely random that a lonely egg found its way to my place, and even so much before the actual holiday. I bent over and picked up the egg, reasoning with myself that it was already too late for a child to be looking for more eggs, and that it would have found the ones that were in its proximity anyways. Life is hard, and I had a craving for an omelet. I stood there at the sunset admiring the egg. Truth be told, it was very beautiful. It had blue, gold, and red stripes, but it was painted in a way that showed professional work. The colors blended beautifully, and it was truly a wonder to look at. Somebody really went the extra mile to create it. After a while, I remembered my hunger and took the egg in the house. I added 2 more of my own eggs from the fridge and started to break them in the pan for my omelet. However, when I broke the Easter egg, something horrible fell into the mixing bowl. Instead of a normal yolk, a red liquid started running. The smell of iron filled my nose and I instantly knew it was blood. Before even completing my thought, a rabbit's leg fell inside the bowl. It was cut badly, and the bone was protruding from where the limb was cut. Immediately, I felt nauseated and threw up in my sink. When my stomach was calm, my mind started to panic though. What was that thing? Why was it sent to me? Who the hell did such a thing and found it amusing enough? The poor animal must have suffered in the hands of this disgusting sadist. Of course, I called the police. They arrived shortly after and listened to my story and told me there weren't many things that they could do. The rabbit leg was way too severed for fingertip analysis, and I had already messed up the shell by catching it with my bare hands. They gave me a form to sign and said they would make a report, and I should call them if I had news, or if somebody actually attempted to harm me. I didn't sleep well that night. Having a sadistic prankster messing with you isn't something that you are normally prepared for, and as you would expect, I was scared for my life. At around 4 a.m., my exhaustion took over and led me to an uneasy and short sleep. Next day I woke up and found another egg on my porch. This one was green, and it was painted so that it would look like dragon scales with gold details. Next to it was a note. It read,
"Go ahead. Call the police. I dare you, friend. See if they catch me. I just want to be friends, don't worry. Just accept my gifts like a good little boy, and we can keep playing this game. But if you don't break this egg by the end of the day, I promise you, it will be the last egg you ever see. I trust that you are a smart little fellow. You can call me Mr. B.
My reaction was to call the police again. While the phone was ringing, I looked at the other side of the note. There was a picture which was truly disturbing. It was a picture of my front door, opened wide, while you could see parts of my kitchen and living room. There was a timer on the bottom right, and it read 31/3/2020, 5:28 a.m. The picture was taken this morning while I was sleeping. I knew I had locked the door because I was getting paranoid last night, and double-checked every door and window of the house.
Hello? This is the police department. What's the situation? Hello? Is there anybody there?
I hung up without saying anything. I remembered the note. The guy had threatened me to not call the police. I didn't know that he had access to my place, however. I was petrified. What could I do? It was clear that he was one step ahead, and he knew how to get to me. With shaking hands, I picked up the egg. I broke it right there, and what I saw brought back the feeling I got yesterday. Inside the egg were 7 human teeth covered in blood. After the initial urge to throw up, I managed to regain control and noticed that there was another note inside the egg, neatly rolled. I opened it up and saw that parts of it were also wet with blood.
Good boy, you're a smart one. I wouldn't have liked playtime to end so soon. I like playing with you after all. Now go, and I'll make sure I'll find you the best gifts you could ever have wished for, just because you are the best and bravest young man out there.
I don't know if I was more disturbed by the contents of the egg, or from the fact that somebody was treating me as a small child for his perverted entertainment. It was terrifying, and I felt like crawling in a corner and crying my life out, like a small child. I was trapped. I couldn't go to the police as I was warned that I would certainly die if I did so, and I was forced to open all the gifts that Mr. B sent me. Needless to say, over the next 2 weeks, the contents of the Easter eggs were becoming more disturbing by the day. A pigeon's head, human skin, live worms, a severed human finger, and even an eye were among the other things that I was forced to see. I don't want you to know everything I saw. Nobody should have to face the same disgusting images I did. But every day, I wish that it would just end there, as it couldn't get more terrifying, and every day, I stood corrected. Upon one day, I tried to secretly notify my neighbors about my case by writing a note and casually trying to leave it in the house of a family that I trusted. The next day, I found my note in the egg, alongside the ears of this family's cat. Once again, I felt frozen. Now the poor people could be in trouble because of me. I took the message and didn't try anything similar ever again. It looks like my stalker was satisfied, because the next day he left me a chocolate bite, along with the chopped rat tail that came with his egg. I don't want to mention that as the egg contents became more gruesome by the day, the eggs themselves became more and more amazing to look at. They started to look like real paintings, and during the second week, they were so realistic that they were looking like actual pictures. Images of landscapes, beaches, and mountains, as well as beautiful sunset scenes were depicted on the eggs. If my mental health wasn't destroyed as it was, I could really compare the paintings with some of the most beautiful art masterpieces I have ever seen. Yesterday, while I had mentally collapsed and was prepared for the worst, I found no egg. I can see now how well was my stalker toying with me because the absence of my routine torture made me more paranoid than I was before. Had I done something wrong? Did this mean I was at the end of the line? Was something even more sinister coming my way? Clearly, my situation was hopeless, and my mental health had deteriorated to the point of madness. I didn't sleep at all that night. Fear had completely overtaken me, and I was crying in my bed, trying to understand why I had to live like this. I knew that this morning was Easter, and I was trying to prepare myself for the worst, the climax of this chaotic game, but no matter how hard you try, you can never be truly ready. I dozed off in the morning. It didn't last long though, probably about an hour. I opened my eyes and turned around and screamed. On the bed next to me was a single Easter egg. Right next to me on the pillow. It was not like the other ones. No pretty shapes or landscapes. It was blood red. The color was so deep, and I got the funky feeling that it was moving on top of the shell like real blood. Once again, I cracked it open, with my spirit completely broken. There was another picture, nothing gruesome, but it truly was the most disturbing thing I had gotten so far. The picture was taken in my room, and it was a selfie. It portrayed me sleeping on my side, and right behind me, a shadowy figure taking the picture. I couldn't make out any details, but I did manage to see its creepy smile, and noticed its unnaturally large teeth. The idea that somebody was in my room for a few moments I was asleep scared me to no end. There truly was no safe place for me. I also got a final note, and it read,
Happy Easter, my good boy. You managed to live throughout our game. Kudos. I'm so proud of you. You see, I didn't want to kill you, but if anybody learned about our game, it would spoil all the fun. The human parts you received as a gift were taken from the person I played with last year. Poor kid was not very bright and called the police even though I told him not to. But it's okay. Don't cry for the other children. They get to play too. I have enough of the previous friend to play with someone next year. It was fun playing with you. Why don't you come to the window and say goodbye, Mr. B?
Mr. B. Mr. B. Easter B? Could it be the Easter Bunny? Was it real? Was this truly what it does? And through the legends spreading mouth to mouth, we have the modern, child-friendly version story. Was its purpose to torture people and let them who he deems worthy surviving? Even though I was shaken to my core, I had to look through the window. And there it was, looking up towards me on my second-floor window, a huge bunny-like figure with gray fur and a smile that was way too wide, way too creepy. In its right hand, it held a small, dead, white bunny. The bunny was missing his front right leg, which was brutally cut away. The damn bastard had held the animal whose leg had given me as a gift. The entire time it looked at me straight in the eyes. Then, it lifted the dead carcass up and started waving goodbye to me, using it as a rag on the air. It didn't stop. For 1 hour, I stood there watching it do the same thing. Then, the phone rang. With fear in my hand, I rushed to it and picked it up. It was my mom, wishing me Happy Easter. While she was talking, I rushed back to the window so that I wouldn't miss the damn thing from my eyes. It was gone. The whole ordeal lasted like 10 seconds, but it had disappeared. It left the poor white bunny in my garden though, a final token of his sixth sense of friendship and gifting. I am sitting in my kitchen now writing this. I never liked Easter, but now it will forever stain my heart as the most terrifying experience of my life. I managed to survive just because I followed this monster's orders, but people died before me, and people will die after me. I know no one will believe my story, but in a sense, I am happy, because I am certain that if it learns that I talked, it will surely come back for me, and this time, I won't make it through. I hope you all have a happy holiday, and I wish from the bottom of my heart that you'll never have an encounter with the Easter Bunny. Thanks for watching, Wolfpack. If you want to submit your story, my email and subreddit will be in the description below. And also, if you're not subscribed, please do if you want. And don't forget to like and comment as well. Have beautiful nightmares. And I will see you next time.